All right, my friends, here we are. I am so excited to be with you guys today and be chatting about some Cardano news that's been coming out. And also, I think probably the coolest at all, you guys are A, the highlight of my day, and B, it's great to be live streaming with you guys again. It's been way too long. For sure, way too long. So it's good to be doing this. If you guys don't know, Wes Spencer here is my name, and really good to be with you guys. On this channel, I love just talking about the things that interest me, things like cryptocurrency, things like starting your own business, being an entrepreneur at spirit. And, this is something that's been close to my journey in everything that I do in life. And happy to just bring this over to you guys. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. Never really will be. It's not my heart and soul and mission to do this. I like to do this as a conduit and a channel. I'm actually an entrepreneur by trade, created, started, and sold multiple companies, and have been interested in crypto for a really long time. I'm a cybersecurity nerd by trade. So this is kind of a convergence of all of these amazing things. And channel is right here below, youtube.com/Wes Spencer. Would love for you guys to definitely check into the channel and see the things that we have going on. One of the things I like to do in my channel is not really about moon pumping. You're not going to find me saying, hey, this crypto's going to the moon this week. And then next week, you sell it all. The truth is, no YouTuber really knows what they're talking about when it comes to price speculation. So if you listen to people like me and others, you're going to go bankrupt. So make your own wise decisions. I'll certainly talk about the things that interest me and why, but always want you guys to make your own decisions. Man, I see a ton of you guys checking in here. So many folks. Make sure you say, hey, where you're connecting in from, because you guys are awesome. And you're the reason I do this. Specific shout out to Adam. What's going on, Adam? Adam, it's so good to see you on here, my friend, and appreciate all the work and support you do on the channel. And so many of you guys as well. Someone coming in from Australia. That is not such a bad place. That is pretty awesome. So here's what we're going to be talking about today. We got South Africa in the house, India, right on, guys. Really, really cool. Welcome. Appreciate you guys joining. So here's what we're going to be talking about today. Cardano. One of the things that people have been so excited about with Cardano for the longest time is its future, right? Its roadmap. And it's had a long roadmap, and they've been very careful and consistent and slow moving about their progression into building the features that they've wanted. So you could go back 2 years ago and see some of the discussion from the Cardano team around smart contracts. It's not that smart contracts are like this new idea that they have, that they, just thought that would be cool to do to compete. No, they've been doing this for a really long time. And it's just taken them some time to build into where they're at today. And so we're going to talk about some of the smart contract stuff today. I'm going to talk about what I think about it, and then I'm going to show you some examples of some smart contracts platforms that are coming out. I think you'll see some close relations to a lot of the projects you see in Ethereum. You look at what Ethereum's doing with smart contracts, and in Binance as well, BSC. I don't want to leave them out. They've really been a test bed for us, and we have some powerfully amazing projects that are all in that world, whether it's DeFi, it's lending, it's NFTs, gaming, all kinds of different things that we're seeing come out. We're going to see a lot from Cardano as well. And the question that we should all have is, will this last and stay with Cardano? Personally, my answer is yes. One of the things I don't want you guys to do when you think through projects is think less of crypto projects as them all competing against each other. In other words, many people, I sort of see them have this idea of, well, which is going to be the smart contract of the future, the layer one platform, Cardano or ETH or Binance. And that's not the way you should think. When I invest in stocks, real stocks, I don't think, well, which one's going to be the winner of all stocks? I don't really operate that way. There's room for lots of people to compete. And so a couple things I think with Cardano, it's the number 3 largest by market cap crypto that's out there. So that has staying power. It's got many thousands of users. That has staying power. It's open source. That has staying power. It's got a lot of things built into it. And so I think Cardano is going to be successful. And I don't think it's this argument of, is it Cardano versus Ethereum, which is going to win. Don't think about it that way. All right. So now that I've said that, what makes Cardano a good platform? I see Aaron checking in. Aaron's a good friend of mine. Aaron, what's going on? Good to see you on here, my friend. Man, some people from Texas, London, really good. Tampa. I live in Tampa, my friend. Mufasa, good to see you on here. Nigeria, really, really cool. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about, one of the cool things about Cardano that it brings to the table is one of the challenges that Ethereum currently has. And Ethereum's working on solving this challenge, but it's around costs of transactions, right? Like there are times when gas fees for Ethereum are so extremely high and someone wants to get into a particular token of sorts and they just can't afford it because the cost of getting in is outrageously expensive. And we've known for a while Cardano is fast. Its transaction fees are much lower. And so those are things that make it, from the user perspective, a solid platform. What we need to wait and see is the Haskell programming language and the capabilities of building smart contracts on Cardano. We just need to wait for the next 6 to 8 months and see what developers say. Is this a robust platform or is it more challenging? So that's what I want to say. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to share my screen out. And we're just going to jump into some of the ones that are out there so you can take a peek at some of these. So I'm going to get this going here. There, you should be able to see my screen now. And there's quite a few that are out here. I'm going to start right here. So this is ADA pools. And by the way, all of the links I share today after the live stream's done and it's rendered and it's on YouTube and in Facebook and all that stuff, I will put links in the description on my YouTube channel so you can get to everything I'm going to show you today. So don't worry too much about trying to stay on top with where I go, right? So this right here is from ADA pools. And what I'm showing you here, these are some of the smart contracts that have been written. And right now I can't really see them. I can see the IDs, I can see the hashes for them, but every single one of these are time locked. And that time lock just means this: the smart contracts have been created, they've been added to the Cardano blockchain, but they're not available yet. So they're still locked by the developers until we see it, until Cardano gets to the point where these are released and available. So just know a lot of what I'm showing you today, we don't have the time and we don't even have the ability to like dive precisionally into these smart contracts specifically. So I just wanted to show this to you if you want to take a peek at them. There's another, this is smart contracts from the Versal app. And this one confuses me a little bit. Let me get rid of this little caption. There we go. This one confuses me a little bit because they're saying that there's 2,352 total smart contracts written for Cardano. And I've seen a lot of like stuff on Reddit and other places being like, I just don't see how that's possible. The numbers don't add up here. But we do see the number of like Plutus-based apps is 19. You compare 19 added with the time-locked apps of 23, 33, you get this number right here, the total number. So I'm not sure how much I trust this. And also, even if the numbers are accurate, I suppose it's possible for anyone just to spin up their own smart contract that literally does nothing, like a hello world check or something very simple, right? And then they get added to the number. So what I don't, my point is this: don't get lost in that. Don't be like, wow, there's already 2,300 smart contracts and everything's still time locked. It's not even available yet. That doesn't mean anything at this point. I think you'll see a lot of news cycles using that to pump it, but don't fall for that, right? Just know we're going to see proof in the pudding as time goes on. Okay, so let's do this. I've spent some time hunting through some smart contract platforms that are getting ready to be released. And instead of trying to hunt them down on the Cardano blockchain, which I can't because they're time locked, I'm just going to show some to you. So this one here is called Meld. And by the way, I'm not doing like full reviews today, right? That's not what we're doing today. If you're just joining me, welcome. Really glad you jumped in. We're talking about Cardano smart contracts that have been released, but kind of not because they're all time locked. And so we're just chatting about some of the ones that are coming out so you can get an early peek at some of these. But what I will say is if you guys want me to dive in a little bit more in depth into some of these when they're released, I certainly will do that. You guys know on my channel, I really stick to the technology more than anything. So I love doing reviews of cryptos, of platforms, of projects, of ideas. And so happy to do some of that. So we'll kind of, this is your early sneak peek. And some of these will probably materialize and do well. Some will probably fail, and that's okay, right? And so some of them I may do a deeper review, but this one's Meld, and Meld is a lot like BlockFi. It's a lot like Celsius. So it's this idea of, using DeFi and earning capabilities to give you financial abilities that otherwise you may not have access to. So if we scroll down, things like cash loans. Now, this is not, you know, completely novel, right? You guys know I'm a huge fan of Celsius. I've done a whole bunch of Celsius reviews. If you haven't seen them, just in any video description, you'll see my links to the Celsius stuff I do. I'm a big partner with Celsius. I've had a bajillion referrals I've done with them, and I know the team. I've talked to the team. Celsius is a great platform, and Meld looks to be, an alternative for that. What's unique about it, though, is it's built on the Cardano blockchain, and the Meld protocol, which is their earning token, is a Cardano-based token. And that's really cool, right? So you look at like a lot of the tokens like BlockFi or even Celsius with their CEL token, or my last video I just did yesterday was on Voyager VGX. It's an Ethereum token. The Meld token is based upon Cardano. So that's really cool. So I really like this one. It checks a lot of the boxes I'm looking for, all the DeFi stuff, supposedly to be democratic with its own DAO to allow people like you and me to vote and have a say in where it's going. All that good stuff. Now, I can't say much about it at this point because I don't have my hands on it yet, right? This is just showing it, and we're still waiting for the smart contract DeFi capabilities to come out for Meld. But this is one I'm very excited about, and I'm definitely going to be following in on this one. So you can kind of take a peek at it. Here's the, how it all works, how you can take loans out, how you can pay them back, all that good stuff. Here's some information on the tokenomics behind it, the staking pools. Here's where their progression is going in the roadmap. So right now the partner program is going to be coming out soon. I probably will join into that one. And then you can see the Q3, 4, and then into next year direction of where it's all going. You can see the team. If you guys don't know, one of the things that's really important for me, it's not a must-have, but I really like it, is I want to know who the teams are. And the reason for that is there's a lot of these burn tokens that are out there. Many of them are completely scam tokens. Not all of them, but many of them are. And they, of course, have no idea who the team is because it's a complete cash grab, right? And that's a topic for another day. But I like seeing the teams. It doesn't mean that it's legitimate. Don't hear me saying that just because someone puts a team on here means the whole thing is legitimate. It doesn't work that way. But it is nice to see who the teams are because they're putting their name behind everything. And so that's just a nice thing to see. The advisors, man, they really need to have me on there as an advisor. Don't you guys think? You guys should ping them and be like, hey, Wes did a quick cover of you guys. But anyway, there's Meld. I'm definitely tracking this one. Very, very interested to see where this guy goes as it moves forward. So the next category of what I want to talk about today is some of the decentralized exchanges, the DEXs of the world. You guys know there's centralized exchanges, Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, Binance, all of those. And then there's decentralized exchanges like Uniswap and PancakeSwap and 1inch and a lot of these decentralized exchanges. And they both have their advantages, right? You find a lot of people that are very much in one camp or the other, like, man, I can't stand these decentralized exchanges. They're all whatever. People that hate centralized because, they're taking fees and all that, but they both have their purposes. And maybe one day I'll do a video on why I like both, right? And why I use both. However, decentralized exchanges, of course, you're going to see some Cardano-driven decentralized exchanges. So I want to share with you 3 of them that I see currently, and there's probably going to be plenty more. Decentralized exchanges are not all that difficult to make. What's really challenging for the developer is how do I get market traction? How do I get liquidity into the pools to allow the trading? That's where the difficulty really comes from. Jumping into the comments, Adam is saying, hey, Wes has plenty of free time. You should just bring him on as an advisor. Wink, wink. I hear you, man. Yes, free time is definitely a struggle for me these days with the companies I run and everything else I have going on. But I would love to make some time for them. So Sunday Swap, this is the first decentralized exchange I want to talk about. So here it is. If we scroll down, you can kind of see, what makes the exchange unique. And again, they're all very similar. They have to have liquidity and capital pools. They'll have to have a trading mechanism, all of that. A lot of the good ones will definitely have some kind of the trust behind the scenes, so things like, do they have an audit of their code? some of that kind of stuff. And some of them, the good ones, will also have their own unique token that drives it. So for example, Pancake has Cake, 1inch has their own token, so on and so forth. Uniswap has their own. And so Sunday Swap also has their own token. So you can see it here, 55% goes to public sale. My understanding of this one, I need to look through because I'm taxing my memory here. I don't think there's any pre-sale on this at all. So I think the rest, the 45% of the tokens for like the internal teams and advisors and all that, that's set aside. But the public is going to be available day one. There's no like pre-sale sneaky junk that's happening on this one, to my knowledge. So I really like this one. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens with it. There's some Q&A down here. You can take a peek at it, but I'm not going to spend too much more time on this one other than just to show it to you. Another one is Cardax. So Cardax says that they're the first decentralized exchange on Cardano. And I'm kind of like, well, I just showed another one. I'm about to show a third. So I don't know which one what makes them the first. I have no idea on that one. But as we scroll down, we can just take a little peek a bit more at some of this. There's not a ton of information on here. We do see who the team is. So that's good. We can see some of the Q&A on when it's going to release, what it is. Same thing, the roadmaps, all of that. So Cardax is another one you can take a peek at. And again, I don't think it has to be which is going to be the best, which is going to be the only one. I think if all of these teams execute really well, they could all be successful for sure. And so the third I wanted to show you is MinSwap, M-I-N swap. So this is, again, a liquidity pool. You can actually click right here to view the app. I should have had that open for us. Oh yeah, this is the one. I forgot about this one. So this one, they had it available as of a couple days ago, but then they shut it down. And the reason they shut it down is I don't think it was their fault. I think Cardano had some challenges initially that made some users unable to swap in the test nets. And so they had to shut that down while Cardano made some changes to the blockchain to correct that issue. But that's why we test things, right? That's why we have test nets. So that is now shut down. You can't see the app at this point. I'm sure they'll bring it back at some point. But you can see, again, same thing, where they're at, where the roadmap is going, all the information around it. This one also has a fair launch, which is really nice. Some yield farming. I've done a few videos on yield farming. I talked about it a little bit when I did my secret videos. I'm a big fan of yield farming. You should never just there are use cases by which you may want to keep your crypto offline, but there are use cases for sure where you want to earn with the crypto you're holding. Again, Celsius and DeFi and other capabilities are the way you get there. So you can take a peek at all of the capabilities here. And here's some screenshots of what it's going to look like. I mean, this looks a lot like Pancake, doesn't it? It looks a whole lot like 1inch. It looks a whole lot like all the rest of the decentralized exchanges where you pick your pairs. You do your trading, you set your slippage, all that kind of stuff. So it's nice, right? It definitely looks like, the rest of these exchanges. So those are 3 decentralized exchanges that are coming out on Cardano: Sunday Swap, Cardax, and MinSwap. So I'll be following all 3 of those. I'm sure there will be additional ones that we'll check out and we'll kind of dive into. Let's see some comments that are coming in here. So Surya, thank you for the oops, I didn't mean to hide that. The 20 INR. That's very kind of you, my friend. Thank you. Adam Farnsworth. Adam is saying, so when you're done talking about these, can you talk about how you find projects like these? Yeah, how about I do you one solid right now, Adam? The way I find them is the way you guys find them. Just lots and lots of tenacious Googling. So sometimes people will reach out to me, if it's a new project, they might email me and be like, hey, I have a new project coming out. Can you take a peek? So sometimes I find out about things that way. Sometimes I find out about them on like Reddit, whether it's cryptocurrency, our moonshots, a lot of those places where things are discussed. I used to really hover the Bitcoin talk forums for a lot of the releases of cryptos, but it's noisy now and I have less time to do that. So usually that's how I'll find those things, but really it's just a ton of Googling, Adam, is the way I find a lot of those kinds of things. So it's a really good question. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about this one here. AADA. ADA, I guess. ADA, whatever it is that they are. So this is like a lending protocol. And again, it's really hard for me to jump into this one in specifics until this is like released and I can see it in a better way. But my understanding of what they're doing here is it becomes a lending platform that gives the capability, like automatic rates and automatic locking inside of the the platform, even like conversion between other cryptos. So this one is much more technical than like a decentralized exchange or like an earning one, like I showed you before with Meld. But certainly an interesting one, no doubt. So I wanted to take, you could take a peek at that one. They also have their own token, the AADA, that kind of drives it, which you would expect that, right? If it's doing liquidity and swaps and transfers and a protocol that runs that, they're going to have their own protocol to kind of incentivize all of that. So there's an interesting one. I haven't dug too deep into this one again because they're all so new, and I want to see what happens with this to see if it's interesting. And then Singularity, I've seen this one mentioned on a whole bunch of news platforms and all that. Singularity is not tied to just Cardano. They do stuff with other cryptos as well, other projects, but they claim to sort of, it's like a marketplace that brings to bear like artificial intelligence capabilities to insert into the blockchain, so you can use their platform to bring those capabilities in. That's about the extent of what I know about this one. I typically am not going to act like I know a bunch of stuff when I don't. And so this is one of those, I haven't done a ton of research. I just saw in the news that they are adopting Cardano and going to become Cardano native alongside Ethereum. So we'll see what happens out of that one. And I'm not really super aware of use cases on this one as well, but I just want to let you take a peek at that one. Okay. Let's share one that's really interesting. Here it is, Greed. So this one is a burn token. To my recollection, and there could be others, so don't hear me as saying this is the first or the only, but Greed token is straight up a burn token. It's straight up just like all the other burn tokens, whether it's FEG, it's SafeMoon, it's Shiba, it's any of those other ones that are out there that have either a flash in the pan and went nowhere or never went anywhere. Here's the thing with burn tokens. They're literally simple to create. I mean, I can create one in 10 minutes. They're not hard to make. And so because of that, and because it lends to the anonymous nature, anyone can spin these things up. And many times they're just a complete scam, rug pull kind of thing. So I'm not saying Greed is that way. I'm just showing you the very first Cardano-based burn token that I've seen. So here it is. Greed is good. It's a little strange. I mean, obviously, I feel like I'm reading like a 1990s website with all the green text and, you know, really bad graphics and all that, but whatever. Then they also kind of mention it's got some tie-in with Baby Doge, which is another burn token on the ETH side of the house. I don't know enough about like how that all works together, but I do know this is a Cardano based token. And it looks like a MySpace page from like 98. You know, MySpace users out there, like straight up, I feel like I'm hovering on MySpace. They probably built it that way on purpose. So there it is, greedtoken.com. You can check that guy out if you want to take a look at it and see what you think. Channing Smithson says, no one's talking about Flare and Songbird. So Channing, this goes back to Adam's question. One of the other ways I find out about projects is people like you guys that tell me about a project. So personally, I have not heard of Flare or Songbird. So I'll have to check those out. You guys should leave me a link in the description or in the comments after this video is over so I can take a peek at those. Sometimes I find out about interesting projects because you guys will send them my way. I mean, think about it. I have an army of like 65,000 subscribers. I love when you guys reach out and tell me about something that's out there, right? David, Pi Network, I hear you, my friend. Pi is super cool. I've covered Pi quite a bit. If you guys haven't seen my Pi videos, then you're definitely behind because I cover that quite a bit. All right, the last one I'm going to share today. Remember, we're going through Cardano smart contracts, and rather than try to find the contracts, I'm just finding the platforms that are out there and letting you see them. So this one is another liquidity pool provider. So again, same thing, brings borrowers and lenders together and gives them the capability to meet and handle, you know, how they can do swaps and trades and all that kind of stuff. So this one's much more technical. It's very, very similar to this AADA one that I showed before in the sense that it's not consumer driven, right? This is not one of those like Meld that it's very easy to read and understand. This one's definitely geared towards operators that are running and utilizing platforms inside Cardano, all that stuff. So you can kind of check all this out. They do have their own token, again, that you'd expect that drives it. So if you find the key here with a lot of these is if you really find what they're doing and you like the mission, you think there's credibility and there's legitimacy and capability in any of these, then these are the ones you want to take a peek at, right? These are the ones you might want to dive into and say, hey, I think this one may go somewhere. I'm going to get involved in that particular token. So this one's all decentralized. This one is all running on the Cardano blockchain without any kind of like centralized management over it. So the protocol does all of the pairing and swapping and all that good stuff. You can see the founders once again. Love seeing founders on here as always. They apparently have some partners. I don't know a ton about these three guys, so I'd have to do some research. But that kind of brings up in my mind the final the final one that's out there, right? The last one that I wanted to share with you of like Cardano smart contract projects. And keep in mind, these are early, right? If you are just kind of getting on early, I'm going to go way back to here. The very first thing I showed, they're all under time lock. So while we can write smart contracts to the blockchain on Cardano, we're still waiting until they're released and they're active. And so it's going to take some time. So the ones I'm showing you today, it's entirely possible that like all of them may not survive. It's entirely possible that 2 or 3 of them may become huge. And like, this is one of the very first videos ever where somebody is covering one of these amazing projects, right? Who knows? But we're early in on it. And that's why I'm giving you a sneak peek to see what are some of the emerging new smart contracts and platforms on Cardano. I will be following a lot of these, and I'm very interested to follow the future of a lot of these as well to see what new ones come out. So I'm going to spend a few more minutes for questions here. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me. May not be able to answer them all. And if I can't answer them, I will by all means tell you, hey, that's not my wheelhouse and I don't know enough about it. So if you guys do have any questions, you can certainly reach out and let me know. So Channing is saying that Flare runs on Ethereum virtual machine EVM, but it's Byzantine network. It's not on Solidity. So, okay, that's cool. So I'll definitely have to check that out. And take a peek at it. Again, I don't know enough about it. I've not been in front of it. Break protocol from Jibril. I'm sorry, break token. If it's a burn token, I don't know that one. So I'll have to take a peek at that one as well. So, and again, you just understand there's literally thousands upon thousands of projects out there. And, not enough time in my day to know all of them by any stretch. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know, but definitely very excited about Cardano. I've been an investor in it for a really long time. I think way back in like 2018 is maybe when I started buying into it, and a friend was talking to me about it. So I like where its direction is going, and it certainly it checks the marks for a lot of things you want to look for in a successful project. So I really like it. Best decentralized exchange to invest in. Well, first of all, you want to think through, am I going for right now Binance, or am I going for Ethereum? And there's a lot of really good ones that are out there. The ones I mentioned are usually the major ones. The 1inch, Pancake, Uniswap are the 3 big ones that are out there. All of them have really grown. You look at their tokens over the past year, they've really, really, really grown in value. So they're really awesome. So I would say pick probably one of those 3 plus Binance. Of course, a lot of those run on Binance as well. But those are probably the 3 I would take a peek at, and then you can expand your research from there to find other ones. Let's see, best Solana project. Stay tuned on that one. Probably we'll do a video on some of that coming up. Solana, of course, is really starting to take off in the news. It's been, the crypto YouTubers have been talking about Solana for quite some time, and for good reason. But it's great to see really hitting the news cycles lately. So stay tuned on that. I may do some video on what I think about some of my favorite projects there and what I like about it. Talk about Pi projects from Talal. Okay, so Pi is interesting, right? You guys know I've shared this many times on this channel. I don't pick winners and I don't pick losers on the crypto projects I cover, right? It's just not my thing. What I do like to do is pick things that are innovative and interesting to me. And here's what makes Pi interesting to me is Pi is the very first, one of the very first projects I've seen that built their market first and then did technology catch up second. So in the startup world that I come from, when I create companies, one of the things we talk about is go to market is extremely difficult. It's not always, I talk to young founders that are like looking to me for funding or others, and they have this great project they built and they spent 3 years building the technology. And I'm like, have you guys ever paused to think about your go to market? And like, is there a market for this? And how do you build the market? And they're like, well, I don't know. I thought if I had a great project, everyone would just come running. It's not the way it works. It's not. Oftentimes you see this in crypto, really solid projects with really smart people doing something really cool, and there's no market for it. No one's ready for it. I'll give you an example. I've seen some cryptos come out in the past year around VPN, right? VPN is like private internet. It's like encrypted tunnel to another. How do I say this simply? Another landing spot that it does all your internet traffic. So your individual endpoint is encrypted to that VPN endpoint. So it gives you privacy. I've seen a lot of like crypto-based incentivized VPNs come out, and there's not many people that use them. Great idea. There's no market for it yet. Not much of one. So an example of that with this is Pi is that way. They built a market. They literally have millions of users, but they're working on the technology to get it there. The blockchain exists. It's still in testnet. It's slowly going somewhere, but it is. We know right now they're working on some of the Pi apps on their hackathon. I think we should see a release to those pretty soon, and hopefully there'll be some great ones that will come out there. And I do believe that Pi is the release, the actual public release is probably imminent. Towards the end of this year, beginning of next, we should probably see wallets and the actual go into full phase 2, where we have the mainnet come out and we're out of testnet and real Pi transactions are happening. At that point, we'll begin to understand what the value of Pi will be, and hopefully there's enough robust apps to drive an economy there. So that's what interests me about Pi. Does that mean it'll be successful? Of course not. We'll see what happens in the future with Pi, but I think it's definitely really, really interesting for sure. Okay, let's see. Anything else here? Firing through the comments as quick as I can. Any FEG updates? Man, FEG has been going crazy of late. I know its price has really struggled. But seeing some of the automatic pairing stuff that's come out with FEG is exciting. The new associated token by the founder, my memory is failing me at the moment, but I'll think of the guy in a minute. FegRox, the FegRox token is now coming out. So some exciting things in FEG for sure. At some point when I get a minute, I'll do some FEG updates and kind of give you guys some connections on what's happening there. But definitely happy with FEG as well, and where it's going. All right, my friends, I think we're going to close this here. I hope this has been a lot of fun. I know it's been fun for me chatting with you guys. One thing you can do, it helps me a lot, right down there, is subscribe. All you can do is hit that button. I do have memberships, so those of you that wish to join into the memberships, just a great way to support me if that is something that you're interested in. No problem if not. I'll never gate content away from you, but just know that that is available in there should you wish to. And it's always fun to connect with you guys and chat and see the things that is going on in my world and see the things going on in your world as well. So until next time, next video I produce, it's been super fun talking with all of you guys, my friends, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.